The Lions beat the Rams 26-20 in overtime. Stafford goes 34 for 49 for 317 yards, and it's not enough. So before I ask you what's your take of the game, I gotta say, I personally believe the Lions sent a message to the league saying, don't worry about who's our number two option. It's Jameson Williams, and we're more dynamic overall as a team than last year because we're a wiser organization. Jamo basically told St. Brown, hey, bro, hold my beer. He had 5 receptions for 121 yards on 9 targets. On 9 targets.
Yeah.
It's clear Ben Johnson wanted to make him a quintessential threat this season. I did want to bring up a key play when he beat Tre'Davious White on that double move. It was nice to see. Golfer delivers the ball downfield. It's a 52-yard touchdown pass. That's something I don't believe we saw all of last year. I do want to remind people too that last year, Jamo actually set out the first 6 weeks. He was, if I'm not mistaken, he was suspended, something like that happened. So by the time people started to understand who he wasn't even able to get acclimated into the roster and for Jared Goff and him to even have chemistry. So what you saw last year out of Jamo is not a definition of who Jamo is. Who you saw in this first game, be worried. Be
Be
worried.
very. It's scary hours in Detroit. Ain't that what they say in the NBA when they team up? It's
Yeah,
scary. Yeah, it's scary hours in Detroit. Jared Goff been in the gym. We
yeah,
saw him throw that bomb,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that wasn't it wasn't really up under Jamo. He didn't really throw it too short like he usually do. It was pretty on target. What was that, about 50 yards?
yeah. It was a
Woo!
52-yard touchdown play, and Jared Goff also went 18 for 28, 217 yards.
Bro, the Jared Goff disrespect around the league is hysterical. It's hysterical.
Yeah,
Okay. Everybody wanted this big game out of Caleb and others, and whatever. The NFC was, oh, is it going to be Green Bay? Is it going to be Chicago? How does it look week two already? We only in week two. Green
hmm
Bay don't even know they're going to have their quarterback. Chicago, like, well, we're going to win games with our defense. I thought you had Caleb. Thought you had the new
yeah,
Mahomes.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It
yeah.
took it took to year 7 for Mahomes to be like, I'm going to win my defense. Whatever.
Facts,
We're not
facts.
worried about that. You know what I'm
The
saying?
Vikings blew out the
Hey,
Giants, and Sam
come on,
Darnold needs to shut up. He lucky he even at the table. You know what
come
I'm
on,
saying? He didn't
come
even have a
on.
job.
Wait till week
And
Sam Darnold. Wait till week 4 when he throw 4 picks.
man, man,
Be
and,
real.
and
The
I did
game
want
was
to focus.
beautiful. The game was great. That's all I want to say about the Lions. You know how I feel about J-Mo. We had this in previous discussions. I, was looking forward to a big year for him. Now, just imagine when the rest of the guys actually come to play. Come on, Jahmyr Gibbs. You was looking a little nervous, a little stutter stepping out there. You know what I'm saying? Get back in your bag. It's only a second year guy. Laporta, come on, get involved. St. Brown, to think that we won really a playoff game. That was another playoff atmosphere. You know, we win that and we're not even using the 3 main guys from last year. That was basically just Montgomery and Jamo. That's not even. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. If we're saying who's the best guys on our team, we just beat you with the fourth and the fifth.
here's what I'm doing to say. Montgomery had a big game, but I don't want Gibbs to go unnoticed. What I noticed out of Gibbs, I would pump the brakes on saying necessarily if he was nervous, but I would say I noticed that he made an effort to secure the ball. There was a couple of plays, two in particular, where I noticed that before he actually accelerated, he made sure he had the ball secure. It's a really small thing, but he's getting a handoff right before he takes that next step. He's tucking it in. He's catching the ball in the flat, grabs it, tucks it in, which is very, very important because the last time we saw Gibbs on the field playing for the Lions, it was a fumble in the NFC Championship game. And some people really blamed him for that loss or for the flip in momentum in that game. So what I want to give a shout out to in Gibbs is noticing his growth and experience. That's something that he took personal accountability for and made sure it made it a focus in this season, or at least in this game, to secure the ball. He's a lot more patient, waiting for the fullback to clear the hole before he tries to make a big play, which is huge because, yeah, you're going to get your breakout runs for sure. I mean, you're already on pace to break one of Barry Sanders' records. He's 5 or 6 touchdowns away from that. Like, you're going to have your breakout runs, but just in the little details, you're executing on that end. And when it comes, trust me, it'll come for him. I don't necessarily even want to say Laporta or St. Brown didn't show up. I
I didn't say they
personally,
didn't show up. I
I
said just
person,
imagine when they do. You
I
know,
personally believe the entire focus of this game was to show everybody and show the league, hey, we are a powerhouse. St. Brown only had three receptions for 13 yards. Laporte, I believe he had somewhere around 2 receptions. So, and you just beat a playoff caliber team. It was a showing,
in
it was
overtime.
a showing.
All I was saying was when they are more involved, then that's not even an overtime game.
And the funny part is, you bring up Jared Goff and throwing that pass. The one thing I wanted to focus on in Jared Goff was him running the scramble play. I was like, yo, like I don't think
Boy,
he's been that fast. Like, watching the play in live time, it's hilarious because you see first the defensive lineman, and it's like, okay, you got past him. But then comes the linebacker, and Jared Goff, like I know Jared Goff, watching Jared Goff. When that linebacker comes, like you see the speed gap close real quick. And then when he beat the linebacker to the first down mark, oh man, I was like, before I could celebrate and be happy, I had to like laugh for a second. Like, yeah, yeah, bro, you worked on some things this offseason because you was not doing that last season.
at all. That
You
wasn't
know.
even in the options.
No, no, I'm I'm
He
I'm
he
curious.
showed you week one. Hey, if it come down to it, I got y'all.
He learned from your guy in preseason. Hooker, when you saw Hooker running people over,
He ain't lower that shoulder. He ain't no fool,
he
but
got in the weight room. He got in the weight room. But I will say this much: not enough can be said for the O line. I know we just talked about Montgomery, Gibbs, Goff, Ben Johnson. Not enough can be said for that O line led by Penei Sewell, man. It is so, so special to see. Whenever we needed a big drive, whenever we needed a big conversion, all you saw was blue jerseys moving forward and yellow jerseys moving back. Like that, I really see some special things for Detroit this year. I want to tell you guys about a couple of people we really rock with. Number one, Rueblur, a social media app that appreciates you, and it's also Black owned. This app is all about you. You can customize your feed so you can only see what you want to see when you open the app. You also get a chance to enjoy a safe environment where racism, harassment, hate speech, bullying isn't tolerated, and you can enjoy a fun, creative, mannered, respectful discourse. And to be honest with you guys, since using this app, I've cut down my social media usage on other apps completely in half. I like to say this app is similar to if Instagram and YouTube had a perfect baby where everything you loved was in it, and everything you hated was out of it. So, guys, check out Rueblur, a social media app that appreciates you. Number two, Excess Sports Nutrition. Guys, crack the seal on one of their many flavors and keep winning. And speaking about the Rams, I do want to focus on them a little bit. Stafford and McVay, I don't want what they did to be overshadowed. To be fair to the Rams, I must say this is the outcome you get when you have a Hall of Fame head coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback. You lose Puka Nacua, you lose 2 or 3 linemen, you have an average of less than 2 seconds to get the ball out, and somehow the game goes to overtime. But who knows? If you get the toss, we might be having a different conversation today. The question I immediately asked myself after the game, based on what I saw of the Rams and based on what I saw of the Lions, was this loss for the Rams more about what Detroit did or about who the Rams didn't have? I mean, you lose 2 to 3 linemen. You don't got your other star receiver out there. Less than 2 seconds to get the ball out, and you still bring the game to overtime. The game still goes to overtime.
yeah, Will Stafford's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So at the end of the day, no. That's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. All right. We
Yeah,
had another we had
yeah,
another guy with a Super Bowl last year, and it took to the end of the game. Well, win by one. It's okay. We do what we got to do. All right. We showed you we can win by one. We can win by 30. The
yeah.
Lions have proven that. All right. Their only fault was what they did against 49ers last year, but we're going to forget about that. It's a new year. We've already proven that it don't really matter how our games turn out as long as they turn out as dubs. That's what we're going to do.
I'll
We
say,
don't. That's the mantra right now. Find a way to win. All right. Find a way to win. We don't have Mahomes. We don't have Devontae Adams. We don't have this superstar cast. We the Detroit Pistons right now are 0-4. We got a lot of guys that you're stars with us. I don't know if you're a star everywhere. No discredit to anybody, but you stars with us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got that grit. Ain't nobody's being punks out there. We're gonna find a way to win. Whether we gotta run it for 60 of the 70 yards in overtime, or we gotta bomb it to one of our best guys in the field. We're gonna find a way to win. Our defense, give them credit. You showed up. All right. You showed up. I can't imagine what you look like in week 17, as long as everybody stays relatively healthy. Growth. Come on.
I'll say I do agree with your 0-4 Pistons take on in comparison. I really do agree with that. The biggest question mark for me is the defense. Same as last year. That's the only question mark. You played the Rams. That was a little beat up. Obviously, we're missing a lineman and star receiver. So we didn't necessarily get a full
It's the
showing of what you
NFL,
guys
but
are.
yeah, I feel you.
We didn't necessarily get a full showing of what you guys are. What happens when you play a team like the Niners, the Eagles, Cowboys, maybe even in our own division, the Packers, where you guys still hold up for 60 minutes? That's my only. I have no question marks about the offense. Like I know what Goff is going to do. I know what St. Brown is going to do. I know what Jamo is going to do. At least now, I know what Ben Johnson is gonna do. I know what I know what our offense is going to do to get the victory. Whether it takes running or it takes throwing. I know what the offense is. I still
Look,
don't know what the defense is, but I
I
do
don't.
want to give them credit in Carlton Davis, Arnold, Brian Branch. Kerby Joseph, who had the pick before half, which arguably you could say now, seeing the way the game turned out, saved the game. And nobody's talking about that, but that pick, let alone, pretty much saved the game. Give a shout out to Aaron Glenn for scheming up some of those defenses out there. And yes, like you said, by week 17, I believe they will have experience, more confidence. Some other players will get picks. They will be more confident in their skill set. They'll be more confident going man to man. But my question is, can you all go man to man? Can you play man defense? Because what you saw out of Stafford was a light showing. If Stafford has those 2 or 3 linemen there and he has more than 2 seconds to get the ball out, this could be a whole different conversation.
No one throws the ball better in the NFC than Stafford.
For
What you saw
sure.
out of Stafford was the best quarterback throwing the ball you're going to see
But
because
I'm
we don't
not
have Mahomes
actually
on schedule.
but I'm not speaking about the quarterback play. I'm speaking about zone defense because what Stafford did, a lot of quarterbacks can do against that zone defense if your lineman cannot get to them, which is what I saw. What happens if you play a more mobile quarterback? That's why I brought up teams like the Cowboys, Eagles. What happens when you play a quarterback that can get outside of the pocket? Now you're talking about chunk plays, 10 to 15 yards. My only question mark is on the defense. I am very proud of what the offense did. I'm very proud of the fact that they bent and they didn't break. I'm very proud of what I saw of the Lions, and I believe this secondary is a lot better. That's why I wanted to give credit to Kerby Joseph, wanted to give credit to Carlton Davis, Arnold, and Brian Branch. Like they just showed out. Truthfully, they did show out, and you can see in Brian Branch just now being his second year, if I'm not mistaken, he's gonna be a big play guy. He's gonna be a big
Yeah.
play guy. The throw that he almost picked off, by week 3 or week 4, those will always be picks, and those will always be pick sixes. If you don't believe me, ask Patrick Mahomes last year, because he got his first pick six against arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. So Brian Branch deserves a whole lot of credit, and our defense deserves a whole lot of credit for being better than what they were last year. And truthfully, I don't want it to be understated in what I'm saying and saying that there's been no development. I'm just asking a question. But however, in what I saw from Arnold, Carlton Davis, I saw some crucial third down conversions where you guys were locked on your man. You batted the ball away on 3rd and 4, on 3rd and 6. I'm proud of what I saw. I do want to say that I'm
Yeah,
proud of what I saw. However,
yeah,
though, that's the only question mark. And when you mention the fact that the Rams are missing linemen, you mention the fact that you don't have Puka Nacua, who's now going to be out, I believe, 4+ games. He's on injury reserve. Who knows what that's going to mean for the Rams? The fact that you were missing crucial pieces, and yet you still push the game to overtime. Now, yes, it's week 1, so no panic. Obviously, it's no panic. However, though, I personally do believe if it's like a week 8 game, that game is probably ends, 24-7 Detroit. Just in people are a lot. We're a well-oiled machine by then. However, though, that's what I did see in this game. It's like, wow, you guys are still keeping it close. I never had doubt that they wouldn't pull it out, but you guys are still keeping it close. I will say this much, like, I think, and tell me if I'm crazy, I think these two teams represent the North and South poles of the NFL, right? One team is
okay.
gritty and rugged, led by a former player and Dan Campbell, who's not afraid to let his nuts hang. He'll go for it on 4th. You know, The other person, scheme heavy, a prodigy, very literate, very marketable, can make a football game look like a piece of art, was even offered a top job at Amazon, and Sean McVay. I'm curious to see if these teams will meet again in the playoffs. If they do, I believe the storyline will be grit versus stratagem.
And I believe we'll just win once again.
Facts.